should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Oh, a long time no see. We're back. You guys, welcome to TMW Online, The Melanated Way. I'm Linda, that's Abby. Welcome to part 2 of our double hitter. We are catching up with all things 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 7. We are on episode 19, so we're almost there, y'all. Thank you for being with us on our previous live stream that was just a few minutes ago. And we are covering episode 19, and the title is Khalas. And I happened to just look it up. And it's a common Arabic slang term meaning finished, done. And we've heard that before many a times, you guys. I'm done. So
classic 90-day line.
Very appropriate for 90 Day, the franchise, and this specific episode.
Yes.
What were your overall thoughts on this episode?
Overall thoughts are, it's a question actually. Do you need to be nice in a breakup, or do you just need to leave?
Oh, I think you should do whatever is best for your mental health. And if you have to be nice because it's a toxic relationship and the only way your spouse is going to respond is to your niceness, then do that, but get out. But for the most part, I say just leave. If you're unhappy, just leave. But
Same.
leave in the best way and safest way possible for you, given whatever your situation is.
That's very good for you to consider. Everyone is not in a safe situation leaving a relationship, for sure.
We are back to Jenny and Sumit. Surprise! Sadna's not feeling well. All of a sudden, she's come down with a touch of I'm pissed off at everyone in the household syndrome. So now she's feeling a little bit dizzy, a little bit confused, and is in the bed. So Sumit's mom, Sadna, is not feeling well. So Sumit is cooking kachari, which is lentils and rice, for her. And Jenny is his sous chef. And by sous chef, I mean she brings the completed meal to Sadna and claims the credit for making it. Literally, Is it good? Well, I hope those 5 steps you took to her room really seasoned and spiced it up for you. There's tension in the house. Emotions are high. Your people are wild, dude. Tensions are high in the house. Emotions are high in the house. There's stress in the house, all because Sumit approached his mom and told Sadna that she was too controlling. Now everyone's unhappy in the house. Sumit is trying to make it up to her by cooking her a little something and trying to smooth things over, because if the matriarch of the house, in their house specifically, is unhappy, then everyone's going to be unhappy with her. So Jenny takes the kachari to Sadna, and Jenny was coming in hot, Abby. She was coming in hot. She's like, I want to move out. Like, first things out of her mouth. She's like, but relax. Don't let things bother you. Don't take on tension. But, this is the first time I'm having to live with a family. And, we're both older women, she says. her, Jenny, and Sadhna. And so, you know, Sadhna, we're both stuck in our ways and none of us are going to change. So guess what? We're moving out. We're going to move back to our old apartment, she says, where we can be happy and free to do anything. Do you understand how that whole conversation was absolutely terrible? She could have
Yes.
worded it way better, because now she's going to be on the defensive. But you're basically telling her that you're not happy in her place, that you can't do anything in your place, that you don't feel free to move about freely in the space. So like, these are all attacks. I just really feel like she could have worded it better.
I don't think she could word this better. This is a conversation that doesn't need to be had right now. Jenny said, oh, Sadhna feels bad. Let me just take that knife that's in her back and just twist it to the left a little bit. Like, what are you doing, Jenny? She's like, don't feel bad. Don't feel horrible. Your dog got ran over. Like, what, Jenny? What is this news?
She then goes on, right, to say, I can't put up with it. Like, she literally says this aloud to Sadhna's face, that she can't put up with this anymore. And so we're moving. And when I say that the controlling Sadhna let that go in one ear and out the other ear, she wasn't having it. She did not care what Jenny was saying. She was like, no. Jenny will live with us. Period. Full stop. Goes on to say, and you know, one of the funny things I think about often too is translators. Because sometimes, you know, translators, they don't translate, and some words don't translate. I understand that. But sometimes they take like the shortcut translation around. Because Sadhna basically said, y'all are not moving. You're not going anywhere. You are going to live with us. But the dad, Anil, translated that back to Jenny, saying, well, it's a unique joy to live together.
He said, let me put a little spin on this.
Nowhere in there Sadhna doesn't even speak like that, but I love that for her, because I was like, you know what, Jenny, you've been there for 6 years. You should have been picked up the language by now. And so they're basically, Anil and Sadhna are basically ordering Jenny to live there. Jenny goes on to say, you know, I'm too old for this. And Anil's like, don't worry, things will be okay. This is normal. Families fight, but then things smooth over and it's no problem. And Jenny's like, no, I want to move out. We want to move out. And I've made up my mind. And one of the things I wanted to ask you guys in the live chat, as well as if you're watching the replay, but Abby right now, is I've noticed, and I'm wondering if you guys have noticed, all these unilateral decisions that are being made in these partnerships. So Jenny decided that she wants to go. She had no conversation with her husband and has made this decision, and not only made it, she announced it to the family before she even talked to her husband. And I find that we've seen that as well a lot with Manon. Manon makes unilateral decisions without discussing it with her husband. What are your thoughts on that?
In this case, I think that Jenny might be adopting the way that Sumit does things and the way that he communicates with her, because when they moved into his house, remember, he told her, we're just going to stay here for a little while because we need to get our money together. It's not going to be always. But then to camera, he tells us, I've always wanted to live with my parents. This is where I want to spend the rest of my life. This is a dream come true for me. So I feel like she's adapting to his form of communication, where they simply tell each other small things and do whatever they want outside of that, hoping to drag their partner along. And do I feel bad that Jenny has done this? No, because how many times have we seen Sumit lie to her face?
Okay. I think it's not a good idea, you guys. I think it's not a good idea to unilaterally make decisions when you're in a relationship.
No.
And I think that it's healthy to adopt your partner's toxic ways just because that's how they communicate. You guys have to figure out a better way to communicate, or it's just not going to work. Like you can only they've been together for a long time, but they haven't been married for the full length of the time that they've been together. And if you're playing games now, what is it going to look like a year from now and 2 years from now? You're going to have to address the issues at some point. Like one of the things that makes me crazy about this show is that you bring up the issue, you address it for 5 seconds, and then you keep it pushing. There's no resolution. And so that's why we keep.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think that this is their life. I think this is the way they're going to do things, that each of them will make a decision and try to pull the other partner into it, because we haven't seen them even acknowledge this was a problem. Submit has never acknowledged that the lies that he tells Jenny are problems. He just says, I will just tell her later, or I will deal with it later. That's what he says every time he lies to her.
Yeah, but she also accepts it, right? So it's just how, when a man cheats and you forgive them, they know that they are able to do that. And especially when they cheat multiple times and you don't do anything about it, they already know. So if they can get away with it at an inch becomes a foot. That being said, Jenny says, we want to move out. I've made up my mind. And Sadhna looks her dead in her face and says, no, you will stay. Sadhna, you gonna hold him hostage now? Like, what does that even mean?
And from her perspective, it's important that Submit and Jenny stay with her, because what? Like what's her angle on this, if you know? Why is it important that they stay in the house with her?
You will stay. I don't know. That's wild. It's wild. I love it. It's wild. So Jenny, okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about is that I don't know. Do you know any entrepreneurs, Abby? I mean, you are an entrepreneur you're a professional entrepreneur. I'll say that. I've been entrepreneur real most of my life. And I just want to let you know that I just don't understand all this free time they have. Your business just opened less than a month ago. Why are you guys never there? How? You're already giving free food away, and then you're giving money back so that no one's paying for, so I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. I've never known an entrepreneur that takes so many days off and is never at their business. But they, again, are off today. And they're going to Wetland Park for some alone time because Jenny feels stressed out. And again, my note says, who's watching the business? They go to a bird sanctuary. That's the Wetland Park. And Jenny's like, I wanted to go to the mall. With what money? Y'all moved into mama and daddy's house because you ain't got no money. So what's at the mall for you?
Air condition.
Oh, that's old people talk. It's true, actually.
As an American.
Is that why you guys go to the mall, for air conditioning?
A lot of times, you guys, I'm sorry to be exposing one of our secrets to my fellow Americans in the chat. A lot of times, if we're in a foreign country and the weather is unbearable, we will simply go to an indoor place for air conditioning.
Oh.
We were not made to be uncomfortable.
Who? We Americans? Is that who you're talking? You Americans? That's the we in this?
That's the we. Exactly. Same reason.
We're not made to be uncomfortable.
No, same reason we want ice in our in our water. Oh dear God, we were not made to drink room temperature water. Please stop doing that to us.
Oh God, I can't have this conversation with you right now, to be honest. Um, because technically room temperature water is better for your body. And
It is. I will agree with you.
okay. Okay.
But we
So
want to be refreshed.
what I do know,
Basically, Tina.
what I do know in Canada, older people like to go to the mall to walk and get their exercise as well as have their community. And so they'll go and like there's like common sitting areas. They'll sit and they'll chat and they'll get their teas and all of that stuff. But then they'll also walk around and you will see people like speed walking through the mall. So I understand that part.
We know Jenny ain't going to walk.
Jenny's not going to the mall to walk. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Anyways, she wanted to go to the mall. She ends up outside at the bird sanctuary, and Sumit talks about how happy he is living with his family. And Jenny says, it sucks living there. I hate it. I want our own place. And I told your parents that we're moving out to our own apartment, which is not what she said. She said they're moving back to their old apartment. But she knows she can't afford that apartment, right? And then Smith's like, are you crazy? You did what? We have no money. Where are we going to go? We have no money. We have a business that we're never at. He didn't say that, I'm telling you. That we're never at, that is making no money. So where are we going exactly? Jenny screams, I can't. It was like a very guttural scream. Did you notice that, Abby?
Yes.
And she freaks out. She says she has no freedom or happiness, and I'm going to leave with or without you. And we get the infamous Khalas. In Arabic means I'm done.
But you know what? Jenny was so real for the bra and underwear comment, though, because sometimes my son will have a friend over and I get irritated because I can't leave my bedroom because I've already undressed. I'm like, get them out of here. I need to walk around naked.
I mean, as women, we get it. We want to come home. We want to definitely take our bra off and be comfortable and all that stuff. But I don't think that Jenny does enough in the house to not feel like she can't do that in the room that she stays in. Because if it was up to her, she would sit in the bed and drink coffee or alcohol all day, every day. So I don't know if I really believe that she can't just wear a t-shirt and her shorts and feel comfortable, because it's not like she's in the kitchen making food with the rest of the family.
Well, she can't because Sadna is expecting her to come and help out with doing certain duties in the house. So Sadna coming into the room.
That, though, Abby, she's not doing those things.
I agree. She's not doing them, but Sadna is still there nitpicking at her. So she doesn't like her saying, why are you laying down? You need to get up. You need to do this. You need to do that. She doesn't like that. She doesn't want to do it. And she doesn't want to be told to do it. She doesn't want to be reminded to do it. She doesn't want to participate in the household.
Listen, Jenny, I think sadness partially keeping you alive.
Basically, like, because at that age, you need to keep your mind stimulated. You need to keep your body moving. And you're just gonna, I'm not even joking, like, because I called you a sloth before, so you probably think I'm joking, but like, if you want to enjoy the years that you have left in life, you got to move your body. You got to use your brain, or else it's going to be treacherous.
Yeah. Listen, go look at the stats. A lot of people who retire unfortunately pass away within 2 years of retirement. They don't even get to enjoy their retirement because they don't do anything. They just sit around doing nothing. And so, what's the plan once you retire, right? You need to have a whole new plan in life, whether that means you're walking the mall, you're knitting, you're reading, whatever. You still have to be active, mind, body, and soul. Tina said, remember when they went through Jenny's things when they first moved in? No thanks, I'd be out too. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. That was wild. Yo,
It's another example. Yeah.
Anything else for Jenny and Submit?
No.
Okay, let's move on to Manon and Anthony.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on this segment of Manon and Anthony?
I'm sorry, but I have to reiterate. My one thought was, why? Why are we doing this? Why are you forcing yourself? Why did you buy a house in this city? Why are you forcing yourself to live in this village when you already knew you were not going to like a small town life? I don't, and I do understand that just like in the move, you can have some anxiety. I had a little panic attack on the plane when I was moving to Mexico, but it wasn't because I thought like I'm setting myself up for the rest of my life in a bad way. It was just because I was like, oh my God, is my apartment really going to be a nice apartment? Am I going to like my job? You know? So I understand having a little bit of anxiety about a move, but like nothing about this place makes you happy. So I don't understand why. Why are we forcing you are a round peg into a square hole? Why are we doing that?
It's a good question. Good question. Joslo, retired RN here after 30 years and started a macrame business. That's awesome.
Yeah. And she's sitting there working on her purse right now, Joslo. I remember you said you were working on today.
If you have a website or somewhere you sell, share it with us. I'd love to check it out. Okay. It's Anthony's first day at work, and he is saying how it's been a rough few days in their new house because the village is so remote. They've had issues with getting enough food for the house. They didn't have a fridge yet. The fridge is getting delivered today. They didn't have internet, so they have to deal with that and, groceries. So there's nothing available, as we find out later in this episode, close to them. They have to go to it, right? So he's like, Manon's going to have to deal with it all while he's at work, and he already knows that that's probably going to be an issue for her. And so he's up early and he's already like starting to unpack so that things can be a little organized for when Manon and Benjamin wake up, so that, I think he knows his wife, you guys. I really do. So before he's going to work, he's setting stuff up, putting food easily available in front of her for her to take care of her son as if she was a babysitter, right? Because that's what you do. Well, that's what you do for babysitters, really, right? So Manon's trying not to freak out. It's her first day being a stay-at-home mom, and she decides that she wants to go for a little quick stroll with Ben through the village, and she wants to, quote, prove that she can do this. And she's worried because she's got no car, it's a new village, and she doesn't know anyone. So, you would think, yeah, okay, let's go explore, maybe meet some neighbors, see what's out there. But I don't think that that's how she's looking at it. I think she's looking at it like, I'm stuck. Let me see how stuck I am. And so she starts to go on the stroller walk. She has a little snag getting out of the house. Kid almost goes flying out of the stroller, but neither here nor there. They got through that. And as she's walking, she's like, you know what? We're definitely not in LA anymore. There's nothing here. It was all like small, narrow streets, but it actually looked really beautiful, very picturesque as far as I was concerned. But she did find a chocolate store. And so she goes in the chocolate store, she buys some chocolate and talks to the woman that was working there and asks a bunch of stuff, finds out it's the only store in the little village. There's the chocolate shop and a hairdresser place. And if she needs anything else, like she was asking about a pharmacy or a bakery, that she has to go to St. Ambrose, which is 2 kilometers away. Now, that's not that far, you guys. 2 kilometers is not that far. And the shopkeeper literally says, you can take a bus there. And she was like, oh, there are buses? Okay. I just wanted you guys to keep that in the back of your mind, because the way Manon reacts is crazy to me. Because to me, I heard, oh, I have an option, right? Women get on the bus with their children every day. Taking public transit, it's not that hard. I mean, you walk just down the hill. Now you just have to find out where the bus route is. And the bus is going to take you 2 kilometers. That's not even going to take you 30 minutes. Anyways, she has a panic attack. There's nothing here she heard. There's nothing here. There's no pharmacy. There's no bakery. She feels stuck and she's not made for this. Her anxiety comes up and she's literally in the middle of the street with her child having a full-on panic attack. A full-on panic attack. Because she heard the shopkeeper say, you need a car. That's what she heard. So when the shopkeeper said there's a bus that comes at 7:15 in the morning, she heard you need a car. And why did she hear that? Because Manon can't picture herself taking a bus. She's the same person, you know, she's very like labeled and she can't see herself taking a bus. That's why she didn't hear that she has the ability to still be mobile, but just in a different way. She heard you need a car, and nowhere in there did that shopkeeper say that to her. So she has this panic attack. She's freaking out. It's too many changes for her. She said it's too much. She's freaking out. What were your thoughts when you saw her freaking out, Abby?
So before she started freaking out, I found it very interesting that she was only asking the shopkeeper about stores. She didn't ask about parks or schools. Where do other children in the neighborhood gather? Is there anyone around here that has small children the age of my son? So she's not even operating in a way that I would say is like child first, because those would have been the questions that I asked if I was in a new neighborhood with my child, you know? I also felt like when she said the bus, that Manon immediately dismissed it as she's too good for the bus. Now, that might be a wrong assumption on my part, but you kind of felt the same way about it, so I feel justified in saying it. It's actually amazing to me how many people think that they're too good for public transportation. I would tell my clients sometimes, if they ask me for a ride to court, I would tell them which bus will get them there, and they would recoil at the thought of riding the bus. But I ride the bus, I ride the train. Like, I believe in public transportation. So it was just, those are the two feelings I had before she started freaking out, and it made me less sympathetic to what may have been an authentic anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm. Jocelyn says, yes, Anthony would have asked. He absolutely would have, right? He would have. She's not used to being with her child. So it's not for front of mind for her at all, which is, you know, interesting. Silver Lining says, I've seen celebrities on the subway and on the metro. She's ridiculous. So she has this panic attack, saying that the change is way too much for her. And she wants to go home, right? And they made it a big deal because she was like in the middle of the road, and then all of a sudden there's a van that's honking at her, and she's like, okay, I'm going. You know what? You could have just moved to the side. I saw a lot of crevices that you could have just popped in real quick. So, like, okay, let's just calm down. You are not the only woman, I'm sure, in that village with the child. Anyways, she gets home. I guess she calmed down as soon as she got home. Anthony came home, and this is why I say Anthony knows his wife, Anthony thinks about his family. Because what did he do? Like she's a babysitter, he brought her flowers for her first day staying at home, taking care of their child. And when I say, I was like, oh, wow. As soon as he walked in, bag still in hand, he handed her flowers and she handed him his child. And said, all yours now. Now he has the baby in one hand, like 4 or 5 bags in the other hand, because he's also stopped off to do some shopping because he thinks about his family before he came home.
Mm-hmm.
Manon would not have done any of that. And the simple fact that she spent just the day and now the person that's out of the house, now here, he's all yours. You're done as if you're off duty. That's not what happened when the roles were reversed. He didn't hand over your child when you came home. This is what I'm. You don't have to be a parent. You don't have to be a mom if you don't want to be a mom. But like, make those decisions before you bring a child into the world, because now you are a mom, and I just don't think that that's fair to the child, and I don't think it's fair to your partner. I really don't, Abby.
I very much agree. I very much agree. I don't think that Anthony is being considered in this relationship. And Olivia, well, it says Olivia, but when I see it, I always say Olivia. Olivia's asking, do you think Anthony attitude I allow this? He seems complacent. I've thought about this. I've thought about, like, the way that we see Manon acting is not new for Anthony. He's been through several years of this. So why?
I don't know the answer to that. It's a really good question, because she treats him terribly, and he does put up with it. So maybe I don't know. Maybe he likes it. I don't know. I can't imagine someone liking being talked down to all the time and arguing all the time, but maybe. So the other thing I noticed is that, the fridge got delivered, and I just don't, okay. Maybe they do it different in France, but I've had fridges delivered, and they absolutely are not going to keep all the wrapping in the box, and they're literally going to put the fridge where you want it, and then you can start setting it up. But I noticed that the fridge was just there in a box, and so after Anthony went to his job, worked all day on his brand new job, then went grocery shopping and picked up flowers, came home to be delivered his child back to him, he now has to do the one thing that Manon was supposed to do and be responsible for, was the fridge. He now has to take care of that and make sure it gets installed. And then he's probably going to be the one that, loads it up. I just
does Ben's bedtime routine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just,
there's a part of me that thinks maybe the backstory here is that he wanted the child, and Manon was like, I'm not really so much into kids, but the compromise could be, if I have a child, then you do the heavy lifting. Like, maybe that's what we're missing. That would make some of this make some sense. But otherwise, I don't know.
I don't know. So while he is unboxing the fridge, she tells him about her panic attack and how she went into town. She had a panic attack and there's nothing in town. She feels stuck. She needs a car. And he explains, well, we got the car. It's just going to take a month to get here. And she's like, I don't want to wait a month. And she's not taking the bus. So she's upset. Then she gets more upset because he found out on his first day that there are going to be days where he has to do overnights because it's a camp. I don't know why we're surprised by that, because, there are day camps and then there are camps. And if it's just a regular camp, then there are overnights. That's what camping is. Um, and instead of like having the conversation, she says that she doesn't think that it's a good job for a dad and that he needs to quit the job and find another one. Now, let's reverse these roles. Okay. Let's just go back to LA where Manon was out in the streets, had no relationship with her kid because she was never home. She was always working. What are you telling this man? That you guys have already decided that you were going to switch roles and he was going to be the provider. You're now telling me he needs to quit that job because there may be some overnights, and her words, she's going to be a single parent overnight.
There was one part of this I felt her on, which was being in a new place where you don't have access to things like medical providers or police officers. That would make me nervous at night. That's
How do
the
you know
only
that they
part
don't have access to that? How do you know that?
I don't know that. I assumed it. So maybe they do. But like being in a new place overnight, that did make me nervous. That's the one thing that I could see about her complaints. But other than that, I think that she made some really rude comments to him, and she's not living up to what they said that they were going to do, that he's going to be the provider, which means that he's going to have to work whatever job he can get. She's saying you got to quit that job and get a better job. What jobs do they think that he's qualified for?
And how often is he going to have an opportunity that part of the requirement for the job is that you speak English?
Exactly. Like I'm here in the US, he could probably qualify for some type of contractor jobs that are especially set aside for ex-military. But if you don't have that going for you and you're in a foreign country, what jobs do you think he's going to suddenly get where he's highly paid? He's not going to be able to go into like human resources. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to go into engineering field. Like what? Why do you saying you need to quit that job and get a higher paying job and a job that's more friendly for families? I don't understand. There's no realistic job for what she's demanding.
Listen, she's never happy with anything, period, full stop. She's never happy with anything. But again, in our previous episode, I said the same thing. If she's not happy with herself, if she's not happy with her situation, she's absolutely not going to be happy with anything around her, including her own family. It's terrible. I think it's really, really terrible and really, really miserable and really, really selfish. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Jessica says, yay, another one. And Olvia says, why couldn't they switch roles in the U.S.? Why couldn't they deal with their problems in the U.S. as well? That's an excellent question. Tina says, the men I know that with wives that work honestly have never been successful at a job or a career, so I don't know. And then another good point is, like, what other job he's going to get in French? He doesn't speak the language fluently, although I commend him for trying. And I do think he speaks more than we are aware of because we've seen him engage in conversation. And everyone's like, why didn't they say that again?
I mean, what they said was that it was too expensive for them to stay in Los Angeles if they were going to switch roles, because he couldn't get a job or he was making enough money for them to stay there. But what we said, me and Linda, is they could have just moved to a different city in the United States where the cost of living was lower than it is in Los Angeles. We didn't hear them address why they didn't consider just moving to a different city, because the amount of money they got selling their house in LA, they could have easily gotten a decent house in Texas, for example. Exactly. And it wouldn't have been so far for Manon to be able to fly back every once in a while for any business related needs that she had, while at the same time having a lower cost of living where she didn't have to do as much work. So I don't know why they didn't consider that as an option.
100%. Tina says she's so negative and it's insufferable to watch every episode. You're not wrong. You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
she tends to be very much a pessimist.
Yeah, but it's also always directed to her husband. Like, it's exhausting, I think. Like, at
Yeah,
some
I
point,
couldn't.
you've got to just be tired about it. Um,
She doesn't know how to work part-time, Olvia. She struggles with maintaining a reasonable work-life balance.
and so Abby is responding to the comment you see on your screen where it says, or they could even both work part-time and share taking care of the kid. And Silver Lining, I agree with this, says she weirdly wants to be the boss babe and victim at the same time.
So I think I finally figured that out since the episode before last, when she was talking about how growing up she had so much anxiety around money because her mom would tell her like she's afraid, oh, our debit card's not going to work this time we're at the grocery store. And so she said she was like 7, 8 years old, having a lot of stress about whether or not they had enough money. And she looked negatively at her mom for being a stay-at-home mom and at the family for having their financial situation. So I think there's a part of her, there's the adult her that wants to work and make money to satisfy the child her who never felt like she had any security. And I think that's why we get this mix of her acting like I'm in charge and I'm good at business and I make money, mixed with why won't somebody take care of me?
That's good. That's good. That's good, Abby. Yep. So as she's complaining to Anthony about her day, she says that she can't stay there for a month and that her parents are coming in a few days and she's going to go back with them to Marseille and she's going to stay and live with her parents for the month. My note literally says SMH selfish. Selfish. She's again making a unilateral decision because she's unhappy after one day at home with her child. You guys decided together that you would switch roles. You guys decided that she was going to be the primary caregiver. You guys decided to buy this house in the countryside. You guys decided to move out of your mama's house. You guys decided to move to France. You guys decided that leaving Los Angeles to get away from your problems was going to be the best idea. And Abby and I said from the very beginning, from the very first episode, how is moving away going to solve your problems? Because everywhere you are, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And problems are going to follow you wherever you are if you don't actually address them. And they yet to address them. And I'm going to take it one step further, Abby, and say that I don't think she really wanted to commit to reversing roles. I really don't think she wanted to do it. But I think that she thought her marriage was going to end. And she thought if she took him to her hometown, that something would change.
That he would suddenly be okay with doing all of the work at home.
100%. 100%. So it's so bad that she doesn't know if they're going to be able to save their marriage. That's how she ended their segment. She's ready to go back. And Tina is making a great point. She never wanted to live with her parents in the first place, and now she's moving back. Makes no sense because she's also complained and said how terrible her parents were and how they basically were verbally abusive to her and made her feel like nothing as she was growing up. So now she was very happy to move away, and she was even happier just this last episode that it was 2 hours away from them. So like the way she flip-flops is incredible, Abby.
Mm-hmm. I just have one more thing to say about them, that it's annoying me and it's probably annoying nobody else. They have yet to address his immigration status in France. It is irritating the crap out of me. Like, did they apply for him to have residency in France back when they got married? So he arrived with it? Like, what work permit is he showing for this job? I just feel like it's something that this kind of show should address, because you can't just pick up and move to another country and start working. Tell us what the process was that they went through.
I agree with you. I was curious to know how he got a job so quickly, what that looked like. Like, is it a work visa? Or is the UK company sponsoring him? Like, how does it work there? And was he able to do it? I mean, I don't know if it was quickly, like in a couple of months, but I wonder.
I don't know. Olvi is saying maybe he's working under the table. I've heard that France is really, really strict.
Same. I've heard that too. And I don't think that he would be able to work under the table and then tell the world that he's working on a show.
Right. The only thing that I know about French immigration is that they don't have birthright citizenship. And so there are a lot of people in France who are actually quote unquote stateless. And they're interesting stories. If you ever go on YouTube and search stateless in France, you'll find some very interesting stories of how people ended up in France with no nationality, like no passport. And because I watch those just for personal interest, I've learned that France is really strict about obtaining employment without proper documentation.
Mm. Tina has another good question. Was he stationed over there? How did they meet? That's a good question. I don't actually know what their origin story is.
Yeah. She said that they met in LA, which the question for me at that point was, how did she didn't obtain status in the United States through marriage. She came to the United States on her own, and then they met here. So I would also have been interested in her giving us her immigration background to the United States. Did you have an employer that sponsored you to come? Did you come on a diversity visa? Like, those are the kind of things that I think that the show should cover, just as much as they cover like what country you're from and telling us some details about the culture there. Like, tell us the immigration information as well.
Yep, agreed. Considering this is all about immigrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Immigrating and emigrating. Okay. Anything else for them?
I don't have anything else for them. That was the last thing I wanted to say about them.
Moving on to Chloe and Johnny.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is there ever a time where it would be appropriate to tell your partner that their deceased parent would be disappointed in them?
Woof! You just coming in hot. Is there ever a time that would be appropriate? I'm going to say no. I have a deceased parent, and I just put myself in that situation, and I would absolutely not appreciate someone saying that, only because when a parent dies, you're grieving your whole life. You might not be actively grieving, but bringing them up, if you're not ready to bring them up, is always going to bring you some type of pain. So if you're saying that in order to inflict pain on that person, then I could see why you're doing it. But for me, it's going to be a no.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a no too. I think if you find yourself wanting to stoop that low, then you really need to walk away. You disengage, walk away, and never, ever speak to that person again, because you don't need that on yourself. You don't need it for yourself.
Yeah.
However, when Johnny said that she said that to him, I was like, whoop. Okay.
Like, you're giving her a pass? Is that what you're saying?
I was like, I don't want to say I'm giving her a pass, but I want to say, okay, Chloe, I understand. You're mad. Okay, maybe it is giving her a little bit of a pass. I think what's happened here is that I dislike Johnny so much that it would be difficult for me to say that nothing bad should happen to him. Like,
So,
if he got hit by somebody's falling drone, it would be hard for me to be like, oh man, that's horrible.
wow.
Which is probably not a good way to be.
Wow.
It's hard. You know how people will be like, I wouldn't want X, Y, and Z to happen to my worst enemy. I've never said that. I want bad things to happen to my worst enemies.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you've never heard me say I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Yeah, I do. I wish bad things on my enemies.
I learn something new about you every day. Okay, so okay, here we go. Johnny is packing up Chloe's stuff, which already is annoying me because I told you, just like with the Greta thing, like, just don't touch my shit. I don't want you to do that, but that's what he's doing. And in the meantime, he's trying to actually gaslight us, the audience, by saying, it's up to Chloe if she wants to, figure out stuff with me. I didn't really do anything. I was just being a guy and I was bored. So I asked another random woman, multiple women for nudes. And I was only going to entertain it for a second. And, that miss you text meant nothing. The sex text meant nothing. All of this outreach and cheating, whether it was physical or emotional or both, it meant nothing. I was just entertaining it for a second. And so if she wants to reconcile, like, I'll own that. But, she's going to have to just like figure it out and we can keep going forward. The way he was I was like, so he's not owning up to it and he's gaslighting us all in one little moment here.
He's on a hamster wheel of terrible things to say.
Yeah. And also, like, know your audience. Predominantly women. Who are you? What? I was just sitting there like, oh, ew, you're good at you. And this is the moment I knew, like, he's about to flip it.
Oh,
that was the moment I was like, oh, he's giving zero responsibility to himself. Zero. This is about to turn ugly quick. Tina says, I was like, sir, are you okay?
Yes. And the same, like, I'm watching him and listening to the things that he was saying, and I'm like, this is just getting worse and worse and worse. And he's like, she's using everything she can to make me seem like a horrible person. No, your soliloquy right here in isolation is making you sound like a horrible person. Like, if I saw nothing that Chloe did and just listened to this speech that you just gave us, I would conclude that you were a horrible person without anything more.
100%. He was so worried about his reputation. He kept saying, but my reputation. Listen, sir, like Tina said, are you okay? Because you're gaslighting us. We're watching. And the more words that come out of your mouth, the more we're like, you know what? You suck. You are a terrible individual. And you are not taking responsibility for your own actions. You were the one that cheated. Ew. So on the flip side, Chloe's on her way to get her stuff. She's like, we're done. Because she can't put up with it. So this is what we're getting. On the one side, Johnny's like, it's up to Chloe if she wants to forgive me. And Chloe on her way there is like, we're done. It's over. Now, good for you, Chloe, for being 23 and knowing exactly when to walk away and when not to be disrespected and not to stay and not to be gaslit and not to be love bombed and all the things. Everything that he did was not okay. And I'm glad that you recognize it and you know your worth. That being said, she doesn't want to look at him. She doesn't want to talk to him. She doesn't want to be in the same room with him, but she does want her stuff. So she's going to go and get her stuff. Johnny says that he wants forgiveness because, and get this, ladies, he didn't hook up with anyone since he committed to her. Now, are you hearing the words? Right? Because this is how manipulators manipulate. He said, and I'm going to say it again because I want you guys to see it. He said he didn't hook up with anyone since he committed. Now, he's not saying he didn't cheat because he has. He's not saying he didn't, hook up, and we all know what hook up means, with anyone else, multiple else's, because he did. He's saying he hasn't done it since he committed. But he hasn't told you when he committed. Did he commit yesterday? Did he commit an hour ago? Did he commit as soon as he got caught? When did he commit to her? Because in his mind, right? She still wasn't, just go back to the previous episode, you guys. She wasn't doing enough for him to even want to consider marrying her because she wasn't cooking and cleaning and all of the stuff. And he didn't want to get the marriage visa. He wanted to do the partnership visa because in his mind, you guys, he's not committed to her yet. So he's telling you everything you need to know, but he's trying to manipulate the situation. Yeah, I cheated, but I didn't cheat since I committed. But I'm not going to tell you when I committed or even if I did commit. Then he says, maybe we can be together. Wants her to talk to him because she hasn't talked to him since she left. And again, it goes back to what we talked about just in our previous episode earlier today. He is a narcissist. He thinks he's the prize. And he can't take it now that he's not getting the attention from Chloe that he expects to get from her on a regular basis. He is fueled by the attention that he gets from females. And just like what Abby said, he's easily discarding it because she's not right by his side, not giving him all the attention that he thinks he deserves because he thinks he's the prize. Now, here's the other thing that is mind-blowing to me, okay? When he says that he wants her forgiveness, do you? Because you haven't admitted to anything. You've just spent the last 10 minutes gaslighting us, the audience, about what you haven't done anything. So if you haven't done, it can't be both things. Do you see what I'm saying, Abby? It can't be both things. You can't spend 10 minutes telling us how you didn't do anything and then go on to say, but oh yeah, I hooked up, but not since I committed. But then say you want forgiveness, because what is it? So, he wants to talk to her because in his mind, she's making him the villain and he feels it's not fair. Listen, you guys, when I say, if you guys can think about every cuss word that your mind right now, those are all the things that I want to say, but I know I can't say them. But I want you to imagine that I am saying them. Bump that guy. He can go and do a la 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 la, and he is a terrible individual, and a gaslighter, and a liar, and a cheat, and he can go rotate on one of my fingers. That being said, are you the villain, Johnny? Yes, you are. Chloe's not making you the villain. You've done that all by yourself. She's just pointing out how villainous you are. Then we find out again about the hidden file of hookups on his phone. Do you know how like disgusting he is? A hidden file of hookups and nudes. Those words, Abby, came out of his mouth, and he said it because he's proud of it. And he's proud of it because when he goes back to his hidden files, you guys, it is giving very much incel behavior. Incel behavior because he goes back to his old, for lack of a better word, conquests, so that he can hype his own self up when he's feeling like he's not getting enough attention. And if that is not Incel 101, I don't know what is. Judy said, sit and twist. Yeah, girl. Yep. So his hidden hookup file on his phone, Chloe found out about it and wanted him to delete it, and he still didn't delete it. So that tells you everything you need to know about the type of individual he is. But then in 2026, on all of our TV screens, Abby, predominantly females who are watching this show, you want to then go ahead and gaslight our whole audience by saying, but I'm a guy. So everything I've done, all my villainous behavior, my vile, cheating, running of the muck ways, it's all okay because I'm a guy.
Mm-hmm.
You said that. Those words came out of your mouth. And we're hearing it in 2026. You're going to be known on this show for the rest of your life for gaslighting a 90% female audience to tell us that you're a guy, and that's why it's okay for you to have hidden files of nude women and your hookups on your phone, to cheat on a girl that moved halfway across the world for you, to entertain another girl while you're filming said show.
Mm-hmm. And I need, for all you girls out there, you've seen this. If you go on TikTok, you'll see tons of girls who are posting videos with Johnny when they went on that pirate cruise in Aruba. Some of them talking about more intimate details. And I need you girls to stop seeing this as a good thing. I need you to see this as a bad thing and know to stay away from somebody like this. Stay away from the potential heartbreak that somebody like this can cause you. This is not a person who's showing you that they made a mistake and that they're repentant. It's a person showing you that if called out on something that they did, they're going to try and minimize it. They're going to try and lie about it. And they're going to treat a person who they said that they loved poorly. And it'll be no different for you. So I need you to listen very carefully. Stay away from people who show you that they do not care about the partner before you.
Mic drop. And to jump off, you guys, to jump off of everything that Abby just said, Chloe arrives at the house, you guys. She arrives at the house, and again, this fool again tries to gaslight her and says, nice to see you after so long, Chloe. She does not fall for the nonsense. She's like, let's just get this over with. I don't want to do this. She starts crying, and I gotta give it to you, Chloe. You handled it in this episode, at least. You were like, I'm not engaging in whatever this is that you're trying to manipulate me with. No, I'm not doing it. I just want to get my stuff and be done. That's it. Slow clap because you deserve it. That's it. Anything you want to add before I move on to the last couple?
No, let's do it. Greta and Matthew.
Overall thoughts on Greta and Matthew?
I'm worried about anything that we may not have seen that makes Greta say that she's concerned that his sadness might turn into anger? What is making you say that, Greta? That worried me.
Yep. I had the same thought. Okay, so it's 3 days since she left. Matthew again is telling us, the audience, what Greta did not do. And again, we've talked about this on our show, and Abby has mentioned it multiple times. But you got to really pay attention to how men treat the women that they were just in love with yesterday and how they talk about them. You really have to pay attention to that because it's important. And the way they can switch it up so quickly is a red flag. So 3 days since she left, he tells us, the audience, that Greta only gave their relationships 4 days to succeed, which is absolutely not true. It's not true, y'all. 6 months, right? 6 months apart. And she was, as women, we don't just wake up today and say, okay, it's over. It's been over somewhere in our mind, and we were formulating when we were walking away. Do you agree with that, Abby?
I agree with that. But even if we operate under his, she only gave us 4 days to succeed, my question to him would be, why would you need more days to fail to follow through on any of the promises that you made? Why do you need more days for her to make that decision?
Right.
Why isn't your conversation, if Matthew was a mature man, his conversation would be, I agreed to make space for her when she arrived here, and I failed to do that. I agreed that we were going to look for a place to live that was in a city area for walking and restaurants and bookstores, and I failed to do that. He would say, there were things that we agreed to that I didn't follow through with, and I wish she would give me another chance that I could actually go back and do those things correctly. Instead, he is taking zero accountability for telling her that she stank and for failing to make any space for her in that house.
Yep. I agree with you. And so the other thing that is crazy is like, he just really doesn't want to take no for an answer. And she's been telling him, no, you're not my person. I'm not in love with you, like over and over and over and over again. And also taking all the responsibility for the failure of the relationship. She's taking it all on, right? Because for whatever reason, she knows that it's the only way that she's going to be able to get out of this. So we even hear from Matthew when his dad came back. The dad comes to his room, says, sorry, kid, it's over. It's over. It's been over. Greta's told you at least 50 times. Your dad is now telling you, your father is telling you to your face that it's over. But Matthew tells us to camera that he's still holding on to the idea that she, Greta, is going to come back and say, I've made a terrible mistake and it's not over. I'm not. I was about to. I'm not. You guys get the point. She's been telling him for multiple days that it's over. Clearly, you're not listening, and you're not listening because you don't respect her. And you don't respect her because your feelings are hurt. And now everything that she does, you don't respect.
Yeah.
But you're just in love with her the other day.
Mm-hmm. And even in the absence of his feelings being hurt, he didn't respect her. Even when you loved her, Matthew, you didn't respect her. So you need to work on your relationship skills. You need to work on, do you even really want to be in a relationship? We didn't see you do anything out of your way to indicate that you actually wanted a partnership. Do you even want to be in one?
And, Greta even said it was his family that made her feel welcome. It was his family that bought the cake for her when she arrived. It was his family that was doing all the things. And so you can imagine he lives at home still, you guys. Grown-ass man lives at home, and yet he's not doing anything out of his way for this woman that was supposed to be his wife.
Right.
Greta's en route to get her stuff, and Matthew reminds us that the only interaction that they've had since she left was that she texted, "I want to come and get my stuff." He said it in a way like Greta's in the wrong for that. Greta feels anxious to get her stuff because she doesn't know what to emotionally prepare for. And this raised a red flag to me as it did to Abby, because she's like, will his sadness turn into anger? Now, we don't say things without it having some type of background history. She's not going to say, oh, I'm worried that he's going to go from sad to mad for no reason, unless she's experienced that with him before, right? And that's why she doesn't know how to emotionally prepare. And Abby, if I put it all around in my head now, it makes perfect sense why she keeps coddling the breakup. She keeps taking ownership and making sure that he's okay, and I'm so sorry, and but also being firm, saying, but I'm not in love with you anymore. It's like she has experienced this before, and maybe it's turned out different. So now she's like baby stepping around him and figuring out, oh, I'm going to have to pacify him in order to make this a smooth break.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. I think that you're 100% correct.
Scary. That's scary business. Okay, so she gets there, knocks on the door. He opens it, cracks it open, and he has her bag packed at the door, and, shoves the first suitcase out, and he's just looking at her, and she's like, I'm just here to get my stuff. And she's not even trying to interact with him, which is, again, me thinking this is exactly it. Like, she's trying to keep it minimal. There's something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And so first suitcase out, and then says, do you want me to help you bring the second suitcase out? And then she says, if that's okay with you, which, again, now that we're talking about it out loud, you guys, this is not good. If you think about it, think about how she's like walking on eggshells to get away. He brings the suitcases to her car. He puts them in, and then here, you guys, and I don't think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. As soon as he turns to her after he put the last suitcase in, she says, I miss you. Right? So she's pacifying him, right? Because this is the real break. She now has her stuff. I miss you, so that he's gonna feel that, I'm still loved. She still misses me. Gonna hold on to that delusion just so that she could get away, you guys. Because then this is the other thing, the cherry on the top. He says, stay safe to her. It just all clicked to me right now. She gets in the car and whisks away. And then he says to camera, to us, what he's realizing, if someone wants to leave, you have to let them. And he knows now it's the right thing. She says that she knows that this was not the future she wanted anymore. And she's homeless, she feels, because she doesn't have a home in England and she doesn't have a home in the US. And she's now worried because maybe she should have settled for moderate happiness versus risking crashing and burning. Greta, you're not going to crash and burn. Okay. You're educated. You're traveled. You're well-spoken. You are going to land just fine, my dear. Give yourself kudos for sticking to your guns. Give yourself kudos for not being manipulated, gaslit, love bombed, and sticking to what you knew was going to be best for your future. It might be uncomfortable right now. You might be sad right now, but I promise you, girlie, you're going to be just fine once you get over the breakup. You're probably going to be even better. I promise that. What do you want to add?
Get home, girl, and go ahead and start finding a job and building your life and link back up with your cat and your crochet group, and you're going to have a beautiful life because you make decisions based on actions.
Agreed. Agreed. You guys, thank you for joining us. And for those of you that were at both shows, we love you. You guys
Yes, thank you.
like and subscribe, and we will definitely see you at the end of the week. And then till then, have an amazing rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.